welcome to another Lawn Fawn video. Today we're going to be making a shaped card, which a lot of people ask me about how to make, and we're going to be using Sophie sentiments and Bannerific, which are both back in stock at www.lawnfawn.com. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to use the Spellbinders Labels 9 die, and I cut a bunch of shapes. So I cut my pattern paper, which we're going to use later, and I cut 2 sheets of cardstock. You can use whatever color you would like, and I just wanted to show you how I make this shaped card. So here's the one piece. Here's the other one. I'm using my Score Pal, but you can use any. You could use a bone folder and a T-ruler. You could use your fingernail. You could use the Martha Stewart one. Score it. Anything will work. And what you want to do is, in this particular shape, you can do this now. This translates to circles, any other funky Spellbinder shape, anything you can think of. This or anything you would cut out with your Silhouette or Sizzix or any of those companies. Essentially what you're going to do is you want to score, usually it's between 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch in, depending on the size of your card. And this one, I have to take account to the shape. So I want to go where it's a little bit wider because I don't think it would be that stable if I scored it here. So I already have this pre-scored because I ran out of battery power while I was filming earlier. So I'm just going to pretend I would score it like this, and then I would start to put my card together. So what you want to do is this is how I figure out how to put the card together. So I know that I want it to, go like a normal card. So I put it this way. I know that this isn't right. The way this is, folded. So I know that what I want it to do is do this. So what I'm going to do is above that score, I'm going to put some adhesive, and I've really fallen in love with the dotted one. I really like it. So I'm just going to put some adhesive down. And a lot of times I have this tendency to miss, especially on rounded edges. And the good thing about this one is you can just roll it off. So, and I got it on my thing. Okay, so I can just roll it off the edges like that. Make sure. Okay, so I've got my adhesive down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack these up, just like you would. And you want to make sure that they're going to line up perfectly. So, and I just put that down like that. Now I have a shaped card that stands on its own and is ready to go. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to, I've also pre-cut these. This is Dear Lizzy paper. It feels like spring outside today, even though I know it's supposed to be fall, but I live in Southern California and our weather has gone completely wacky. So right now we're dealing with weird weather, so I thought let's celebrate spring. So I'm using this fun Dear Lizzy paper, and I'm just going to adhere it down onto the cardstock, the front. And I like having the white on the inside so I can write in any color that I would like. So, there we go. Now, the next thing we're going to do is work with this smaller piece separately. So, actually, we're going to move on from that. We're going to push that over. Alright, so we're going to be using some Dear Lizzy fabric paper, but you could use any kind of fabric. I know there's other fabric papers on the market too. This just happens to all coordinate, so we're going to use it. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this banner stamp, and I'm going to use a dye ink. So this is a Ranger Adirondack Espresso dye ink. I don't know a lot about stamping on fabric necessarily, but for me at least it seems like the dye ink works pretty well. Now when you stamp on fabric, the look of the fabric is going to come through when you stamp. So it's not going to be that clean line. It's going to look more like the textured line of fabric. So we're going to stamp down right here. And I like to hold it just a little bit so the ink can kind of soak in the paper. And that's it. So we have that, and then the next thing I'm going to do is stamp my sentiment right away too. That way that's just all done. And I'm going to stamp it in the dark ink also because I want to make sure it pops off all these kind of patterns that we're using. So I just curved my sentiment a little bit, and that's what I love about clear stamps is you can have it straight just like this. You can do the curve, and I just like the little bit of curve. I think it adds a little whimsy when you stamp it, and so I play around with it just like this, and I go, okay, that looks nice. So ink it up with the dye ink again, and I'm going to stamp that right in my banner. I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm just going to hold it there a little bit. Just want to make sure that everything inks up. I don't know if there's any, like I said, I'm not a fabric expert. I just kind of have done different things and tried different things and seen what works. So there, as you can see, let's see, hopefully we focus it. You can see the texture when you stamp through the ink. I think it looks really fun and cool, and it gives that kind of homespun look. Now I like to heat set mine too, so that's just what I do. So I normally just take my heat gun to it a little bit, and I don't know, I'm always paranoid it's gonna smear, so I just heat set it just a little and that's it. So I had one of these already pre-done, like I'm on a cooking show or something, and I cut it out. I left a little border around the banner. I kind of like when you stamp on pattern paper with these banners to leave a little, 1/16 of an inch border around. It looks kind of fun. So that's this part of the card. And then I'm going to use a different Dear Lizzy fabric paper, this yellow rose one that's so pretty. And I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to stamp the birds. So here's one of the birds. I'll show you real fast. With the dye ink, and I'm stamping him kind of on the yellow and the pink. I don't want the dark brown on him. And I don't mind that some pink gets on him. I think it looks cool. And so you can see he's real little right there. And so there's that. And once again, I would heat set that, cut them out, and I would do both birds. So, there's the two birds in the set facing, opposite directions. And here are my little cutout birds. So, let's get to putting our card together. Ooh. I have too much stuff around. Alright, let's see if we can center this and be straight here. Okay, so right now we're going to start working with this paper, and the birds, which I am going to have be here and here. So I'm actually going to adhere this one, which it's got this adhesive back to it. And I want this one to be pretty centered in my shape here. So I'm kind of just gonna place it about where I think is center and just push it down. Now for my birds, I actually want them to be popped up a little bit. So I'm gonna get some pop dots, and I am going to take the adhesive off the back though, because this is so slippery that if you put the pop dot on there, I feel like it just kind of slides off. And I'm going to take this thing off again, and I'm just going to put one of these little pop dot, foam dots, whatever they're called, things on my bird, and take that back off and put them right here. And do the same thing with the other bird. The other bird like that. So it's got some good dimension. Now I'm going to take this and put this on our original card front, but I want to pop it up a little bit. So I'm actually going to use some of this tape here and just cut pieces of it. So peel these all off. Okay, I'm going to get rid of all these sticky back things. And now I have my card here, and I'm just going to make sure that that I center this over my card. Whoop. And make sure, I always want to make sure this one's opening correctly, especially since there's words on it. You don't want it to be upside down. And I checked to make sure the music wasn't upside down too earlier, because that would be really embarrassing. Okay, so now it's got a little bit of dimension. And at one point I had pulled out one of these little crochet flowers and thought about putting it there, but I actually kind of just like it like this. So I think I'm just going to keep it that way. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the shape card thing and fabric paper and all this fun stuff and fun ways to use Bannerific and Sophie sentiments. And remember, they're back in stock. So thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day. Bye!